Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Fire It Up with CJ show. Today we have Samantha Bennett, and she is going to help us get it done. How many of you are out there are procrastinators who are either in a creative position and you're procrastinating a little bit in terms of getting things done? So Samantha is going to show us 15 minutes a day how you can actually be more creative. So welcome, Samantha.
Thank you so much, CJ. Hi, everybody.
So what are some tips? We're desperate. We need to know.
Yeah, so the book is Get It Done, from procrastination to creative genius in 15 minutes a day. So this is here it is.
Okay.
Ready? 15 minutes a day on the projects that matter most to you. 15 minutes a day before you check your email. Before you check your email, spend 15 minutes a day on the projects that matter most. Every single day. And here's the thing, you will be shocked at the amount of work that you can actually get done in 15 minutes. But try it, because really it's amazing what you can do. And even if you're just staring at a blank piece of paper for 15 minutes a day.
That's okay.
That's okay. And in some ways, some enforced daydreaming can be a wonderful tool, like a little space, a little quiet, a little...
I think what you're doing, you're training your brain, like this is the moment for I'm carving out time, and you kind of create a new neural pathway in your brain. These 15 minutes, whatever happens is cool. You may not come anything, you may doodle, whatever, but that's okay. You're dedicating the time.
Exactly.
To be creative, and you're prioritizing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then two other things happen. One is, because you prioritized yourself, you feel kind of great. It's the same sort of smug feeling that you have when you go to the gym. You're like, oh, I'm awesome. But the other thing that happens, and I'm sure you've had this happen in your own life, when you set an intention and then you move your feet, like you're actually doing something, it's like the universe comes rushing at you. It's like, this is when I get the calls and the emails from people who are like, okay, Sam, so I didn't really think the 15-minute thing would work for me. This is why I love my private clients, because I charge them so much they have to do what I say. So I didn't think it would work, but I had to do it because you told me to. And then, it was going okay. And then all of a sudden I'm in line at the dry cleaners, and this guy and his sister's a literary agent, and now all the time. Yeah. All the time. Yeah. One of the things that I think is really important for everyone, but especially for creative people, is some kind of idea catcher. Personally, I like index cards because they're cheap and cheerful and easy to carry around. And whole pieces of paper intimidate me. Yeah. But an index card, I feel like I can manage. Yeah. But figure out what works for you. Some people like to use the voice memo app on their phone. Some people leave themselves a message. Some people send themselves emails. Whatever works for you. And then you have to have some place to put those ideas too.
Right.
So
that's usually the problem. All those little pieces of paper that get lost.
Exactly. So everything needs the right sized home.
Yep.
It's my number one organizational tip. Everything needs the right sized home.
Yeah.
When I started working on the book, I had that thing in my head of like, it has to be perfect before I start.
Right.
Right. So, big trap. But I couldn't decide. I was like, well, should it be a thought for the day thing? Should it be like a 12-week plan? Should it just be stories? Like, how do I do this? And finally I thought, okay, why don't I just let the book tell me what it wants to be?
Ooh.
So I started carrying around these index cards. Anytime I had an idea for something that I thought should be in the book, I would write it down, and then I put it in a big manila envelope on my desk labeled Genius.
Oh, love it.
And I just did that for about 4 or 6 weeks, and then dumped everything out into the dining room table and was like, okay, well, here's all the stuff about internal blocks and fear, and here's all the stuff about getting organized, and here's all the stuff.
The book wrote it? Well, that's fantastic.
It was good.
I love that idea. But what I love about that idea even more, I love the process, but that you let ideas germinate over a period of time, and then you throw all the cards out. See, I think oftentimes we sit down and we're like forcing ourselves to be creative during this span of time, but how long was that period of time when you're collecting the cards?
It's about a month and a half.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the best amount of time, because you probably came up with lots. And there's probably cards that are like, what?
Totally. And then there were cards that were in there 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, apparently I really think this needs to be in the book. Well, and it points to something else, and it's really the whole reason I created the organizedartistcompany.com to begin with. The whole reason I wrote the book is because there isn't a right way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's not like I've got some incredible method and everybody should do things the way I do things.
Yeah.
What I do have are some incredible methods for you to figure out what your method is.
Right. Try a bunch of different things and don't get depressed. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, move on to the next thing.
Move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
You know, I tell a story in the book about a client I had who had done The Artist Way. Mm-hmm. Brilliant book, right? Yeah. Julia Cameron. Brilliant. But he was having a lot of trouble with the morning pages. You know, she recommends that you wake up and write for 3 pages every day. And he was just hating it. He was just hating it. And he really wanted to be like a good student and a good, you know, obedient person. And was just dreading it. Was like, if I write bigger, will it go faster? You know, big margins. And he finally figured out, we worked a little bit, and he finally figured out that because he was a writer, the action of putting words to things, like, that wasn't really his issue. Like, that was already kind of done inside of his mind. That wasn't hard or interesting for him.
Right.
What did need to happen, though, was for him to really feel his feelings. Because he was so verbal, he would sometimes sort of like, oh, I believe I'm having a feeling. I believe this feeling is anger. I think that feeling is showing up in these ways. Surface, 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 right?
Right.
So we got him a big, like a kid's pad of newsprint, one of those giant pads.
Yes.
And some magic markers. And then every morning he would like just draw his feelings. He would draw his dreams. He would draw all this, right? So all this time,
wow.
You know, the journal keeping was great. It was just, the first journal was just too small. So keep going until you find the thing that's going to work for you. I mean, school gives you this idea that you're supposed to know all the answers ahead of time.
Yes. And to get it done within a certain frame of time.
Right.
Write the paper, it's due next week. And it's, you know, it's I don't know, inhibiting in some ways.
Yeah, it's a little paralyzing. And you're supposed to do it better than everybody else.
Yes.
You're supposed to be the best. So here's another one. This one's pretty good. Get a C.
Get a C. Oh.
Just get a C. C is the grade that you get for showing up and doing the work.
Yeah.
Show up, do the work. Not doing the work better than everybody else, not doing extra credit work. Just show up and do the work.
Right.
And here's why you can kind of, because I can hear all the apple polishers out there like, oh,
I never want to get a C.
Right, it has to be an A. Right, I'm that way too. But here's the thing. Your version of a C is probably everybody else's version of an A.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
And, you know, if you do something and then it needs to be made better, then you'll make it better.
Yeah.
You know, if it needs correcting, then you'll send out, you know, version 2.0 director's cut.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what I think happens with that one is that when you're trying to get an A, you're in your mind. You're like trying to recreate the experiences. What constitutes an A? I'm going to try to get an A again based on all of my thoughts and feelings and all those things. And you know what? That's not where creativity comes from. Yeah.
And the other thing too is just get it out there. See if anybody's interested.
Yeah.
You know, I talked to a client the other day who'd spent like 18 months on her website and she wasn't exactly sure what her product or service was going to be.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude. Get it out there. See what everybody else wants. Because what you think they want is probably not what they want.
Yeah.
The thing of yours that's going to be the most successful and be the biggest hit for you, I guarantee will not be your favorite.
Yeah. These are fantastic. So they're in a book called Get It Done, From Procrastination to Creative Genius in 15 minutes a day. Brilliant ideas. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much for being on the show. Hey, thank you so much for listening to the Fire It Up with CJ show. I hope you enjoyed the show and that you learned something or found something that you'd like to try out. It means so much to me that you're listening to the show and would love your support in any way by giving me comments below or to subscribe to the show or share the show with friends. Thank you again for your support. Love and blessings.